I see a fair amount of couples in the work that I do, trying to help couples to repair their marriage, heal their marriage, get back together or keep it together, or avoid separation and divorce. Uh, and it can be done. The thing about couples therapy is it's best to get into it sooner rather than later. Like anything, if you're sinking into depression, you don't want to wait until you got a noose around your neck to ask for help, right? I mean, as you get more and more depressed, things get worse and worse. You can get more impulsive, and do horrible things to yourself and others. So when you start to feel depressed, if this isn't going away in a few weeks, you might want to like talk to somebody and see if hopefully it'll be talk therapy that will help you to like see what's going on in your life, the choices you've made, how you can make different choices, how you can be happier, how you can pull yourself out of depression. But for some people, medicine can be very, very helpful. But the point is, you want to nip things in the bud. If you have a depression problem, you don't want to wait until you are, where you can't get out of bed in order to get help. It's much easier to cure things and fix things and heal things early on, before it becomes before you're in a huge pit. And the same thing is true of relationships. Couples get resentments build up. People are fighting with each other, arguing. The resentments build, the grievances build. They're not having sex. There's very little intimacy of any kind. They're like, two ships in the night. They're roommates living together under one roof. Nobody's happy. And what happens is the resentments build. They stop talking. They stop sharing their feelings. They stop expressing what's going on. Oftentimes, one person is particularly enraged with the other person, and it's usually that person who finally takes a stand and says, "Enough's enough. I'm done. I'm out of here." A lot of times, in a lot of these relationships, the one of the two people say to the other one, you keep doing this. This is a big problem. You need to stop doing this, this, and this. You need to do this, and this, or else I'm out of here. This isn't going to work. I find this to be toxic or hostile or whatever. And it's a bad environment, and I don't want to keep myself in it. I mean, it takes a lot of time, oftentimes a lot of years for people to finally reach that point. But the point is, when they reach that point, when they finally say, "I'm fed up, I'm out of here, goodbye, get lost," it's very hard for the couples therapy to be effective, because there's so much water under the bridge. There's so much resentment. There's so much bitterness. Walls have been put up to protect themselves from being hurt and to numb themselves as well. So if the relationship is floundering, that's the time when it first starts floundering, when you recognize the red flags and get some help, get into therapy. Usually there's one person who goes, "No, I don't want to do that." It's because of ego, stubbornness, fear, who knows what. Usually one partner says, "No, I'm not going to therapy." It's usually the person who needs to change, and they're afraid to change. Who knows what's going on in their head. Maybe they're afraid to admit that they're the problem. Whatever it might be, it's very self-destructive, because what happens is, finally, months or years later, when the person says, "Okay, get lost," or "I'm taking off," and then they go, well, wait a second, I don't want that to happen. Let's go to couples therapy. And even if the other person agrees to it, again, at that point, it's one thing when you're dealing with a molehill. It's another thing when you're dealing with a mountain. And you have made a mountain out of what started out as a molehill, and it's really hard to claw your way out of that one. So, get the help early on. Now, here's the thing, too. If you really, maybe oftentimes people are ambivalent. They say they want to get back together. They say they want to repair the relationship, but maybe they don't. But here's the thing. If you really love the other person who is saying to you, this can't be. I don't want this. Then and if they give you if you really love them, you really want to keep the relationship together. If they give you a list of things that are kind of deal breakers, the ways in which they want you, you have a choice. You have a choice. You can go, "Screw that. I'm not going to change for anybody. I like who I am," and then probably you'll be alone and like yourself alone. If you don't want to be alone, if you want to be with this person, if you love this person, if you really want to heal the relationship, then you put your pride and your ego away, and you decide to go down the checklist and make the changes that are requested. By the way, usually these changes are not outrageous. For some people, it's like, hey, if you pick up the trash, take out the trash once in a while. If you see a dish, if you take out a dish and have a piece of pie, put the dish back in the sink. I mean, there's all sorts of different ways, and sometimes it's very mundane, like just being helpful around the house. Sometimes it's a matter of just being considerate and thoughtful. Sometimes it's just a matter of listening. Not being sarcastic. There are so many different ways in which we, rub our partners the wrong way and create hostilities and resentments. And usually, a lot of these things are not deal breakers. We can do these things. Well, yeah, well, what about her? Or what about him? He should do this, or she should do, I'm doing all this, Get that attitude out of your head, okay? If you want a relationship to succeed, be humble, be gracious, be yielding. Okay, there's certain things you can draw a line in the sand. There are certain battles worth fighting. Certain things where you say, I've done this for you and that for you. I appreciate you. I love you. I want to do these things for you. But this, I think, is not fair. This, I think, you ought to look at yourself. That this is something you're doing, or this is something you should accept, and tolerate. Okay, but for the most part, if someone is saying to you, I need you to do these things if we're to stay together, do them. Do them consistently. Do them religiously. If you fall down and fall backwards and fall off the bicycle, you say you're sorry, you get back on the bicycle, you show your intention, you show your love, you show your motivation. You are driven and motivated to succeed at what they wish to do. And look, if they don't defrost right away, if you're doing, these things and really integrating these changes into your life, and time is passing, maybe it's weeks, maybe it's months, many months, and they're not giving you a break. They're still hanging on to these resentments and things. They're not appreciating what you've done and how you've changed. Take it easy, relax. Don't comp a resentment over that. Don't comp an attitude over that. That will set you back. You need to be patient. Slow wins the race. Steady wins the race. You spend a lot of time digging yourself a hole. It's going to take some time to get out of that hole, to make the person really believe these changes are real, that if they let their guard down, you're not going to hurt them again. So it takes time and patience and love. And if you do that, you have a chance. It doesn't say it's a given, but you have a chance to repair and heal the relationship and avoid a separation or divorce. It's possible, but you really got to put your ego on the back burner and decide, I love this person, I want to do these things. And you don't do them begrudgingly. It's like service to others. You do things unconditionally, without exception, because it feels good to help other people. And ironically, you feel good about yourself when you help other people, and they feel good about you because you're helping other people. So helping other people selflessly, without thinking what's in it for me, thinking how can I help them, without thinking what's in it for me, the more you do this, the better chance you have of attracting people, places, and circumstances in your life which will be really positive and sustaining.